There have been multiple conjectures on the causes of this crash by experts such as pilots, type-rated instructors, engineers, and air traffic controllers. In this video, we will analyze what all these people have had to say on the fatal accident. Flight A303 was a scheduled domestic flight from Allama Iqbal International Airport, Lahore, to Jinnah International Airport, Karachi, operated by a nearly 16-year-old Airbus A320-214, registered as APBLD. It took off soon after 1 p.m. and crashed near the end of its 90-minute flight at 2:45 p.m. The plane crashed on its second landing attempt. On its first approach, when APBLD was 15 nautical miles east of the airport, it was at a height of 10,000 feet and was cleared to descend to 3,000 feet. However, according to the Jepson charts for Karachi, which are popular aeronautical navigation charts, it should have been at 8,000 feet. On 22nd May 2020, PIA Flight 8303 en route from Lahore to Karachi crashed in the densely populated neighborhood of Model Colony, 1,300 meters short of the runway threshold. 91 passengers and 8 crew members were aboard the plane, and 97 people lost their lives in the crash, with 2 passengers surviving. It is also estimated that 8 people were injured on the ground. As of now, not much has been confirmed about the cause of the crash and the events leading to it. It is approximated that a detailed report of the findings will be made public in 3 months. The black box of the plane, which is known as the digital flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, have been recovered from the crash site and handed over to the inquiry board.
We are comfortable now, and we are out of 3,500 for 3,000. Established ILS 25 left.
Air traffic control recommended that the aircraft perform a turn to heading 180, which would help decrease the excess altitude and thus ensure that the aircraft approached the runway at the correct altitude. The pilots informed ATC that they were comfortable landing on their current approach, and thus ATC cleared them to land on runway 25L. The aircraft was then at an altitude of 3,500 feet, 5 nautical miles from the airport, and it had descended 2,000 feet to an altitude of 1,500 feet when it was 4 nautical miles from the airport. Based on eyewitness accounts from PIA engineers as well as observation of the runway by Civil Aviation Authority officials, the plane's engine scraped the runway multiple times before a go-around was initiated, meaning that the landing gear was retracted on approach. There were scrape marks on the runway at the 4,500 feet mark, the 5,500 feet mark, between the 6,000 and 7,000 feet marks, and at the 9,500 feet mark. These marks were alternating on the right and left sides of the runway, indicating that they were caused by the right and left engines respectively. It is believed that this is what damaged the engines. The oil tank and fuel pump of the engines could have been damaged, leading to an oil leak, which would stop the plane from achieving the required altitude and speed. The cause of confusion is the fact that although it was apparent that the retracted landing gear was the cause of the aborted landing, the pilots did not inform ATC of this issue. Let's have a look at the landing gear system in the next few slides. When the landing gear lever is set down, all 3 landing gears hydraulically down and lock. A green light as shown appears on different display systems. There are emergency warning systems within the plane that would have warned the pilots of a problem with the landing gear, yet they did not indicate to ATC that it had not been deployed. ATC became aware of the issue during the go-around and second approach. This could be due to ATC observing or being informed of the first aborted belly landing. Pictures of the plane taken during the second approach show marks under the engines, as well as the plane's ram air turbine engaged. The ram air turbine deploys automatically when complete engine failure occurs, and it provides electricity for an aircraft's flight control system. ATC directed the pilot to reach an altitude of 3,000 feet, but the aircraft managed only 1,800 feet. When ATC reminded the pilots of the altitude they were supposed to reach, the first officer said, "We are trying." The aircraft also began the second approach from a distance of 1.5 nautical miles, rather than the mandatory 7 nautical miles designated for aircraft of that size. If the normal system fails to extend the gear hydraulically, the flight crew can use a crank to extend it mechanically. When the crew member turns the crank, it isolates the landing gear hydraulics from the green hydraulic system. It unlocks the landing gear doors and the main and nose main gear. It allows gravity to drop the gear into the extended position. Locking springs help the crew to crank the main gear into the locked condition, and aerodynamic forces assist in the locking of the nose gear. The gear doors remain open. The flight crew can reset the emergency extension system in flight if green hydraulic pressure is available.